produce yourself?
Yeah, I think I can. I'm Gerard Lamerick, and I'm basically a photographer, but I work with Mark, the background production or sound, everything you need, I'm there.
Oh, basically you're a crew member. Oh,
Yes, I'm a crew member.
Okay.
My name's Vlad, full name Claude Vladimir Ambroise. I grew up in Haiti, moved to the US when I was 18 for college, and then from there I kind of moved to different states and ended up working here in Massachusetts as a scientist, and that's when I met the director. And through chatting, I figured out you like movies, I ride motorcycles, and you make action movies, and that's how 1+1 = 2, and we were able to work on this great project.
That's when you've been working with him for a long time.
Pretty much, we've been working for a long time. Anytime he needs my help, just a phone call away, and here I am.
Yes, this is my first time.
How have been the experience for you working with him?
Oh, wonderful. It's always a great pleasure working with Mark as a director.
Not only as for Widmark, but for the production itself, like the whole production, and also
you learn with him. So look how you grow. It's each movie you learn something new. So that makes it more interesting to work with him. So it makes you feel confident.
It was great. It was great working with the director. He's been very patient, and he took me through a lot of how to set up for scenes. This is the first time that I was doing a movie, so I thought he did a great job explaining how things are and made things fun. So I had a lot of fun making this movie, and I would work with him again.
What do you like specifically in movie making, like the filmmaking process? What do you like the best?
So many things. So I will have to pick one. I think the sound is one of the most important thing in a movie. So, I mean, this is where I work the most, so maybe that's why I think the sound engineering is very important, and I like working as a sound helper.
One, it's being able to put something to vision and make it come alive is something that's there's something very artistic about that. So I did enjoy. And plus, I've never seen it before, so this was the first time. I don't know if I keep doing it, if I'll be that patient every time, but the first time was great for me. So.
Do you think there's gonna be more sequel to this Escort?
Yeah, most definitely. It's there's always something to follow. You always expect
or do you
something.
already know something?
No, well, it depends how the reaction of the audience will help us understand if we need a sequel or not. But I'm pretty sure we will have a sequel.
Yeah, why not? I mean, they're fun films. It's a good local production, black produced film. Making a little action movies in Boston. So I hope it continues.
Did you get to audition for the part? And if yes, how was the audition process?
I did not audition for the part. We just went for it. I mean, sometimes you take risks, and he took a risk and wanted to put me in that movie, knowing that I rode a motorcycle and we needed some chase scenes and that. And I'm grateful that he just took a chance, and hopefully the product that you get to see is satisfactory.
As a crew member, do you want to talk more about the production itself? How is it working and set? Is your position interfere with anybody? And also, whatever you want to add, feel free to keep talking.
Well, I'm kind of a polyvalent crew member. I don't do only one thing. So sometimes I take picture behind the scene, or I can be in the sound engineering, or anything that they may need, they call me, and like I said, I'm kind of a polyvalent staff member, so I've been doing a lot, and it's always a pleasure to work with the crew. You always have fun. You don't feel like you're you're working when you are in the Widmark production. You always make it easy, fun, and it's always a learning situation. So that's why we can't wait to go back the day after to finish it, because it's always a joy to work with Widmark.
Does he take suggestion from actors, or does he follow the script to the T?
No, he takes a lot of suggestions. You know, we've made scenes on the spots that, you know, even I made suggestions that were put into the film, and other people that were part of the crew made suggestions that end up in the film as well. So he's pretty open.
He's a good listener, but he's a kind of a guy who is very practical. He really likes things to be done properly. So the same way he likes to listen to people, you must listen to him too, because he doesn't like failure, and we all agree.
What is it like on the set of Widmark production?
It's good. I mean, I had a lot of fun. You know, for me, it was 2 days of coming and shooting. I like being on motorcycles, and I like to learn about film, so I enjoyed it a lot.
What about, are you guys always on time?
On time? Well, kind of. When we need to be on time, we are on time, but we always try to be on time. That could be a little problem, but not a serious matter. But we are doing our best when it comes to time.
Were you always interested in acting, or when did you discover your interest for acting?
I never thought of pursuing a career in acting, but when I was a kid, I took a kind of like career test, and I remember that amongst the top 3 choices was acting and directing and working in the movie scene. And I remember when I told my mother that I was doing this movie, and she's like, "You remember when you were in high school and you took a test and it said you should be an actor?" I mean, I never pursued anything like this, but for some reason in my career aptitude tests, acting was a suggestion in the top 3, but I never followed through.
Anything you feel like they can improve being on set?
Well, yes, improvement is always needed on almost everything. So there is always something new to learn, so you never stop learning. So we learn along the way.
Which character do you play in the Escort without revealing too much?
You'll get to see. I mean, I'll say it's a bad guy, and I talked about motorcycles, so there's motorcycles. So you know, you'll be in for a little bit of fun.
What do you think about the actors? How do they feel about you guys as a crew member, especially the actors, and their point of view? What do you think?
Well, in good company. We always take criticism in the good way. We don't, get frustrated when someone says something shouldn't be done the other way, or correct it, or that's the way it is. That's the way we move forward, by listening to each other. So it's a nice environment.
Do you enjoy playing that character?
Of course. Anytime I'm on a motorcycle, I'm happy. That's the key to my happiness. My wife is as well.
So what would you like to see in that series for the future? Any more episodes?
Personally, I'm ready for the next episode. So we have to wait to see what the audience will say. So, we depend on our audience. So the more positive feedback we get, that will help us move forward.
If you want to talk about sponsors, anything, now it's the...
Well, what can we do without sponsors? We need them. We need more and more sponsors. And I think that's sometimes a headache to get sponsors. It's not easy. But, life is a fight. So we got to go after and present a good product. Once your product is good, the next time you will get some sponsors. I believe so.
Do you expect to be called back if there is a sequel?
I hope so. I would love to, sure.
How far do you think this series can take you with your movie career, whether as hobby or professional?
It's probably a hobby. I mean, I'm not gonna, hope too much, but you never know. Things can happen.
Do you enjoy telling stories to movie?
I love watching movies. Again, this is my first time being on the other side of the screen. So yeah, sure. I mean, I enjoy action movies, fantasies. So movies has always been a big part of my life growing up. So, sure.
What genre of movies do you enjoy making, and what type of roles do you prefer to play?
Yeah, definitely action movies for sure. You know, if you're gonna make a superhero movie, give me a call too.
Are you used to the long hours of the hardship of movie making?
I don't have a problem with the long hours or the hardship. I mean, it's just what it is. I mean, we always see. I've always known that sometimes a 3-hour movie takes hundreds of hours, almost thousands of hours to make, of takes, outtakes, etc. So it's just part of the process. So I understand that part.
Do you like watching your work, or are you one of the actors who don't like to see themselves on screen? I know it is your first time.
Yeah, I think I'll enjoy it. I think I'll enjoy it for sure.
Is there any Hollywood actor or actors that you look up to as model or someone you would admire to be compared with?
Denzel Washington, for sure. He's always somebody that I admired, growing up. Yeah, I mean Chadwick, of course. Kind of rest in peace. But it was great seeing that movie as well. So I think those two guys.
Thank you. Anything you would like to add before we finish?
It's always a pleasure to answer your questions.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully you guys enjoy the movie. Yeah, and then go on YouTube, subscribe to On Camera. There's a lot of fun projects and fun tidbits coming out on the page. So hopefully you guys support, because this is how we get to do all this, with your support and the support of friends and family. So, hopefully you guys enjoy the movie. And yeah, thank you. Thank you for everything.
Welcome to a little interview.
Thank you.
We have a few questions to ask you about your project and some future films. So let's start first by, won't you introduce yourself to the viewers and tell them about your background in movie making?
Well, thanks for having me. Well, I've been interested in filmmaking ever since I was, a child. I used to go to the movies a lot, and I used to watch a lot of Asian films. All my friends, we all developed great interest in martial art films and action films and stuff like that. So from that age, I grew up to become an adult and still have a much stronger interest in filmmaking. Coming from a country that is not industrialized, that is a underdeveloped country, as you all know, and you didn't have much opportunity growing up in the country to be making films, especially films is not part of our culture, so to speak. Loving martial arts, and I wanted to be an action star, from watching all the Asian films and stuff like that. And that's how I get to become a fan of Bruce Lee when I was young. And so he was a person that I look up to, mainly because when you see people that you're not big, you're not tall, and then you see someone who look like you and then perform great feat, and so you tend to look at that person as your idol, as a, as an example, as a model. Ever since I could remember, I was 8. I think I was 8 years old when I used to make. I used to get a wooden frame with 2 nails on each side, and then I put 2 rolls on them with a thread, and then so I'd be cutting out characters because I used to draw a lot, and I'll be making them fighting, you know, and then that's behind a white screen, and then I put a light behind it, so the shadow of the characters reflected on the screen, and then I have people on the other side watching as if they were watching a movie on TV or anything like that. So that started when I was 8 years old. So apparently, when I came to Boston, so I met with Ines Casademont, who was my ESL teacher, and Ines at that time was into TV production. So she used to be filming at the Catholic Church, mostly regular basis or very often. And when I was in her class and she found out that I was interested in audiovisual, so therefore she took me under her wings, and sort of because of her, I ended up being at BNN as a member, because I did the workshop, took the test and everything, so I became a member. And then when I became a member, then a few years later, I participated in a show called Antenne Haïtien. It was James Leroy who was the producer, so therefore he gave me the opportunity to work with him. And then I have a segment called On Camera within Antenne Haïtien, and so that's how it started over here. But before that, I forgot to say that I met with Philippe Pressoir, who was the producer of Papa Pierre at that time when I was in Haiti. So I got a chance to play in 3 Papa Pierres before I traveled to the United States to become a resident here.
Interesting. So now, why don't you walk us through the process of filmmaking?
Well, for anyone who is in film production, audiovisual, they know that you have to have passion for it in order to stick with it, because it's a lot of hard work, long hours on set. But once you have a passion for it, then you don't really see it as work, because this is one of the places that you will feel very happy from doing what you're doing. So the filmmaking process, yes, it's a long process, because you have pre-production, then you have production, then you have post-production, and each category entails its own package of work that you have to do. So in pre-production, this is when you have the idea, and that idea, and which is the story that you would want to tell, so you will go ahead and put it down on paper, and which is called the script. But the script itself, you might end up having many rewrites, meaning you write the first draft, and then after that you go over it, review it, and then you write another, and it varies from writer to writer on how many rewrite they've done. So there is no limitation to it. Everybody is different. So now when you write the script, within the script, or which tells the story, then the story will dictate all the items within the context of the story that you're telling. And as a script writer, of course, you will list down all location. You will list the props and everything that the story entails. And that's how you will be able to come up with a budget for the film, meaning when you look at it, it tells location, it tells how many actors are going to be part of this, the film, and and then also to come up with the crew, the cast and the crew. So all this is done through pre-production. So now that you have the story, and then you're going to need to know the location, because you have to do location scouting, and you have to know all the items that you're going to need, and then in order to come up with the budget that you will be needing to do the film. And so then after that, there is the audition process. So then you will do the audition, meaning that's when you get, people to come to try out for the parts. So then after the audition process, then you will go home, then you will watch the tape. If normally you will tape the audition, and then just to see with whoever else that is with you, the producers and stuff like that. Or if you happen to be the producer yourself and the director, then that's a decision you will be making of whom you will want to be in the film based on their performance throughout the audition. And then you will go to production. So production is the actual filming. That's when you start on day one, filming first scene, or however sequential that you will be filming. Because usually when you're filming films, you don't film in sequence. You can film out of sequence. You know what I mean? Film scene 1 today, and then film scene 22 the next day, and then stuff like that. So that's the production. That process too requires a lot of expenses, because that's when you have to feed the actors, you have to get wardrobe, you got to get all the items which I mentioned, that you will need from the script. And all these things have to be prepped in advance. And then during the production, yes, feeding people, and then costs of, things that you will need as you're filming. And so when you finish shooting the movie, now production is over. Now there is post-production. Post-production is, that's when you're going to put everything together in the editing room. So still money has to be spent through post-production, but you can probably, of course it's pre-calculated, but that doesn't mean that whatever that you have calculated before, you could be going over budget. Because let's say that you have to get licensing for music, or if you have your own composers that are making music for you, for instance, so that you don't have to worry about license, but you can purchase the license right for music and stuff like that. So in my case, I'm a member of Digital Juice, and also I purchase, I license music from Ghost Hack, Audio. I'm a member. So, and you try to get the best music in, even if you have to be members in different companies and stuff like that. So it never ends. And in my case, for instance, when I'm making my films, music is one of the direction where I spend a lot of money, like music. And so again, post-production costs as well.
Pretty long process. What would you say is the most common issue you have with actors who have worked with you?
Yeah, the most common issue that I have with actors that have worked with me, I mean, not all of them, but many of them, is I think some of the actors, they don't understand the concept of filmmaking. They probably get into it because of the glamorous things they see on TV. They want the popularity. They just want to be famous. But the question I always ask myself is, what would you take time to partake a project and do all the hard work, and then when the final project is completed, and then you as an actor who's been part of that film, you never talk about the film, you don't post it anywhere, you act as if you never done that film. So I don't see how a person can consider yourself smart in that sense, because if you are intelligent, and you should see that you are part of the project, and then it's in your best interest as an actor to talk to people about the project that you're part of. How else are they going to see your work? How are they going to know that you were in this project if you don't talk about it, you don't post about it, you don't write about it, you don't do any type of promotion for that project? You know what I mean? It's just like you came, you participated, and then you left, and then that's it. So how are people going to know that you were part of the project? And then again, this is where it's not an intelligent thing to do, because you think that director or producer, with that kind of attitude that you have, they're going to call you again to work with them, because they see that you're not in their best interest of their project. And even, see, when you are part of something, even if it's their project, but it's not just their project, it's your project too, because you are part of it. You know what I mean? So I think all the smart actors, they when they work in a project, they promote the project. But it's you have to show to others, your friends, your family members, that, hey, I participated in this project, it's so good, you have to see it. You know what I mean? Otherwise, why are you an actor? Because if you just do it for the money, I mean, you get paid and then, okay, that's it. But what about when you don't get paid? If you don't get paid, it's because you gave the perception that you have passion for the art. And if you are a passionate actor, so why wouldn't you want to promote yourself or the project that you are part of? I mean, if I look back, I did The Island Between Our Love. There is only one actor from all the actors that is constantly promoting The Island Between Our Love on Facebook. And is the guy who played the police officer in the film. You know? So all the other actors, you never see anything that they write or anything that they post, or they don't talk about it. But now, as a producer, as a director, if I want to have somebody else in my film, I'm going to call him, because he had showed me that not only he's grateful, he's, you know, he appreciated the fact that he had the opportunity to play in the film, but he's promoting something that he was proud to be part of. And I think all actors should have the same attitude, and they should have the same enthusiasm in terms of, you know, participating in anyone's project, you know. And the other person who promotes the film, the other actor, he doesn't do it on Facebook, but he does it off Facebook, which I'm aware of, is the person who plays the father, the Haitian father, you know, of the girl in the film. So, of course, I observe that. And I'm also grateful because they have shown me, they have appreciated the fact that I gave them the opportunity to be in the film. Because the director or the producer alone, they just can't do all the legwork in terms of promoting the film. We need the support of everyone who has been part of the film in order to promote it. I mean, probably now, if you ask how many people that know about The Island Between Our Love. I mean, we did the showcase, yes, in that Showcase Cinema, and that was in August of 2018. And because of the pandemic, the movie industry has been affected a lot by this event, and therefore movies have been really come to a standstill. So, I mean, now we're gonna try again to promote, the film in the future. But now we're talking about this other project.
You have written your own script. You have also written your own lyrics for many songs that you have used in most of your films. Is there anything that you don't do in your movies?
It isn't by choice that I've done so many things or I've worn many hats, like they say. Sometimes I feel like I'm the jack of all trades and master of none. It reduces the cost for me because you will have to hire this person to do this particular task, this person to do this particular task. And I like to work in team, but like I said, it's costly. So I'm forced to do things, and I do them too just because I see that I have the ability to do it. But would I prefer to have a specialist for each particular thing? Yes. But can I afford it? No. And you work in, you are part of our production, and you know the deal. You know, many of us do many things on set, and that's how it is too in independent films. I remember, well, it's just also too how I think I am. Since I was little, I was always doing many things. I like to draw. I like to play sports, practice martial arts. So I think the fact that you have the ability to do things, then normally you will do more than one thing. Yeah, it's probably the best thing to just have one talent and focus on it and be very good at it. But when you have many talents, it's just hard to just focus on one thing. You may never be good at all of them, but to be able to do it, yes, you can do it, you're going to do it. And there is a need for me to do it, like I said, because I couldn't have someone else to do it for me unless I pay. And if I don't have the money, so I'll do it myself, until I am able to have enough money. I have a big budget, then I will hire the right individual for each thing. I like to write. I'm not saying that I'm a great writer. I'm not saying that I'm a professional songwriter. Yeah, but I did write the lyrics for Everybody Cheats. That's when I started. And then I also write the lyrics for My Gift from Heaven. There are 2 songs in there. I wrote both lyrics. And then also I wrote the lyric for the song in the Escort, both of them. I mean, I said, okay, I'm not a musician, I know that. I don't know anything about the instrument, but I mean, lyrics, they are words. So, and I listen to a lot of songs. I sort of look at how a lyric, looks. So, and I said, well, I can do that. And I think over time, I think I'm getting better because I think you get better by doing. So, and people will get a chance to hear the new track. But I must say, I can't take the whole credit by myself because the fact that I'm not a musician. And so what I do, I hire a professional singer and a person who produces the sound, somebody who makes beat. So, and I've been working with that person who makes beats. So it's been, I think it works for me. It works, so it works for my project.
understand, but what inspires you to write, and what is the process?
It's the mood, because I have to be in the mood to write. Sometimes I remember my cousin Ziki came from Florida, and because he was here with me, and we were downstairs in the theater room, so we were exercising, and then within a conversation that we were having, and then I told him, hold on, I have an idea from, and the idea just came from the conversation that we were having. So I told him to hold on, and I went upstairs, and then I wrote the song, and I went back downstairs to continue the exercise with him. So I find myself writing the songs that I've written mostly in about an hour or so.
Well, speaking of inspiration, so what inspired you? What inspired the Escort, and where did the idea of the Escort come from?
Well, so I took delivery of my Model 3, the Tesla Model 3 in 2018, but I had made the reservation 2 years prior. One time I was on YouTube, and then I ended up seeing, I forgot, I saw something about, the unveiling the Model 3, and then I've seen about Elon Musk and stuff like that. I never knew who Elon Musk was before. So if I said 2018, I took, so 17, probably 2016, yeah, when I saw the unveiling of Model 3. And that's when I knew about Elon Musk. To know the genius guy that he is, and I've learned a lot about him. And then I saw the unveiling. But I was automatically in love with the Tesla Model 3, which is a total electric car, right? And it's funny, and that was like the most interesting thing about it. And you have like 200,000 people putting down on a car that they haven't been able to tangibly touch, and they just seen they seen the video of it online, the unveiling, but yet it looks good. And then they talk about the specs, and for some odd reason it's like love at first sight. Like you see a woman for the first time, you just you are attracted by it. So and then when I got the car, and then knowing that it's an electric car, knowing that it helps with the reduction of CO2, and then also learn how he cares about renewable energy, going green, and having clean air and stuff like that. So I'm like, well, who wouldn't want to be on board for something that you think that's going to help to the environment, So, and now when you have possession of a Tesla, I don't need to tell you, you know how that car drives.
Oh, yeah.
The stability of it, how fast it is, and fast also means that you can get out of harm's way much quicker. And but then again, if you're driving a Tesla, it's a car that you need to drive responsibly because it's a fast car. So you have to respect the speed limit and stuff like that. But so that's where the idea came from, knowing that there are a lot of fans of Tesla, and then I said that would be a good opportunity to, partake the same concept, and then spread the knowledge about electric car. Like I said, I saw the opportunity in partaking the concept of spreading this beautiful message in terms of renewable energy, eliminating ice engine, which is emitting CO2 in the air that we're breathing, And I said, okay, maybe if I make a series, you know, people, you know, that is entertaining, because, you know, people, that's a way of teaching them in an entertaining way. So they'll have fun watching it, and at the same time, they will get information that they didn't know before, not just about electric car, but the whole message that probably Elon Musk is trying to convey.
How did you manage to gather the cast for the Escort 1 and 2?
Normally, when I'm making films, I have audition. I usually post it somewhere online, and or flyers and stuff like that. But what happened is, when you work with great actors before, because you know, I've made quite a few films, and I just reach out to the actors that I've already worked with, people that I know, and because it's important when you're working with people in the film industry that you're comfortable with, that that you're easy to work with, and then also, you know, they're great performers and stuff like that, and they have passion, because all these consider they are passion projects. It's not that I have much money to be paying them. Everybody is on board because they just have the love for acting or filmmaking. So they don't see the money first, and I just like to work with people like that because I have the same mindset. I don't necessarily just because I'm making a profit of it. Otherwise, you know, I'm showing it on YouTube. I mean, if I were to make money in movies, great. We wouldn't like to make money, but it's not my primary goal because I love the art. I love filmmaking. That's one of the things when I'm doing, I'm most happy. And so basically, you know, yeah, like I said, I just call people that I've already worked, and then, or they refer me to other actors.
Which would you say is the most difficult film to make in all of the films that you've made, and why?
I would say the Escort 2 is the most challenging film that I've made throughout all my films. Why? Because it involves visual effects in some part, and imagine, because of budget, you know that we were supposed to have 2 Teslas on set, and it's, you know, it's not that easy to just get a rental of Teslas. I mean, now that I've learned that there are apps that, or whatever, that you can use in order to get a rental, you know, for a Tesla. But during the time of shooting, perhaps I didn't have that information, or we just didn't have any available. I had people that promised me that they could have get me one, but it didn't happen on time. So, and since time was very sensitive, and so I had to go on with production. But I had to really rack my brain in order to figure out how am I gonna show the same Tesla, but to make it appear as 2. So that was very challenging. But I would say even the Escort 1, I consider, you know, it's the whole series that is the most difficult, because having to do, you know, car chase and all that is difficult, as many people in the business know, especially when you're under budget or you don't have any budget at all. And yo, you're not gonna believe it. This is the first time I was that nervous that I went to the bathroom twice in that same day. Before, that's in the Escort 1, before, on the first day of shooting. Remember the first day we had to shoot? And the reason why is because I didn't have enough crew members. This is the first time I felt like I don't have enough crew members on the first day of shoot, you know? And so I had to figure out everything on my own mostly. And so the little number of people that were there to help wasn't sufficient. So that I felt that, okay, I'm in good hands, or I'm comfortable and stuff like that. So, yeah, it was nerve-wracking. Like I said, I went to the bathroom twice. This is how stressful that it was. And then now it comes the Escort 2, which is even harder because, like I said, a bunch of visual effects that I had to figure out. But the good thing is, it made me grow as a filmmaker, and I realized too, it's more things that I need to learn. So, yeah, that was the most difficult thing. But all of them, of course, they have their challenge.
Well, speaking of budget, how do you get your films financed?
That is the big headache for every filmmaker. Well, in my case, that's how I always do my film. I'm lucky to have a bunch of friends and family members that are very supportive. You know, they're open-minded to the point they understand my passion for filmmaking, and they know that I'm trying to tell stories. And so, in other words, they sort of got behind me, and then it's through their donation that everything is possible. Because if I were to only spend my money, I would not have been able to make all these films. So I am very grateful, very appreciative of their continuum in terms of giving me that hand throughout the years, and they stand behind me. And again, I'm very lucky in that sense, because it's not that I have sponsors, so it's because of them, and I'm very appreciative, very grateful, and so I'm hoping that they never get disappointed with my work. So, and then you know, but it's hard, and that's why I don't make movies so often, because I don't want to exhaust my resources, because I don't want to go to them every year and then asking them for money. But you know, at least they're great friends and great family members, and thank you, everyone.
You understand? So when do we expect to see the Escort 2, and where can people see it?
Well, we are at the final phase of the Escort 2. So basically, the editing is finished. We are in the reviewing phase, and you know, finalizing things, see if everything is you know, in their designated order, if everything is on point. And I don't know, we're looking at this coming year. I don't know if it's going to be the first week of January, but it definitely is going to be in January. And then, so people need to subscribe to On Camera on YouTube. It's On Camera on YouTube, so that they will be able, I will have a grand premiere, so people who subscribe, they will receive the notification, and then they'll know when to watch it.
Hopefully. Anything you want to say before we close this interview?
Ultimately, the viewers are the boss. Basically, we need their support as filmmakers, as independent filmmakers, in order to be able to continue producing. And whether it's independent filmmakers or even in our community, the Haitian filmmakers, we need the people's support, so that, and support means that, you know, you will have to pay a small fee in order to view our work. So that's the only way that we can continue making more movies because it's a chain reaction. You know, in order to pay the actors, in order to pay the crew members, in order to pay for music licensing or musicians that, you know, do scoring for films. And so basically we will need an audience that, you know, willing to just pay a small fee in order, again, for the movie business to continue. And it's a give and take. As they're giving us, we providing them with entertainment. What I would like to see that, you know, more Asian filmmakers, that we are able to tell more stories about, you know, our culture. And but it's hard, really, with the political mayhem in Haiti and the insecurity, you know, to take actors or to travel and then go film in a place where you don't really feel that you're safe. So the instability in the country is also hindering, you know, the movie making in terms of showing another type of image about our culture. I mean, the dirty image of Haiti we're constantly seeing. I mean, we would like to redirect their eyes and attention to the rich culture that we have, showing the agricultural thing that, you know, and the artifact, all the stuff that Haiti, you know, has to provide. We have a bunch of talented people in Haiti, but we cannot exploit their talent because there is not a venue really for the, you know, for the filmmakers and producers, because you can't make films without money. And that's when sometimes filmmakers go as far as trying to do fundraising. But we are not a culture of giving donation. It's not something in us. I mean, Asian people will do that mostly only when there's a disaster. That's when when it comes to art and literature and culture, they don't believe in donating, you know, in order to promote art. And without art and culture, you know, what are you leaving for posterity? You know, that's part of history, you know. The only way to preserve your history is through art and culture. So I would like to see more effort on the viewer's part, you know, in order to sustain the cinema industry, whether in the Haitian, you know, community or even independent films in general.
Thank you for your time.
And thank you for having me. Hello?
Are you still in France?
Are you already here in Boston?
I landed about 30 minutes ago.
Hello?
Good morning. It's a beautiful day for some business, and I can't afford to have you in the bed sleeping. Your next pickup is in 1.5 hours.
What is Tesla doing over here, man? Electric car, is it gas station?
Excuse me, sir. Is that your car blocking me?
Yeah, it is. Why?
I don't want to be late for my appointment.
You parked in the wrong spot.
Why does it say that?
Well, you shouldn't have parked over there. I said that. Now you just got to race.
You can drive. I'm in a hurry.
What now?
We have a hot tub.
Lose the tail. Get rid of her.
I see you've been training.